After 3 hours on TikTok, your brain changes. Not because it's damaged, but because it's learned something dangerous. And in the end, you'll realize that the problem isn't TikTok. The problem is what happens after you close it. Imagine you open TikTok for 5 minutes. You watched a funny clip, so you watched a second one. But the second one ended at a cliffhanger, so you moved on to the third. And suddenly, 3 hours of your life were gone. This happened to a young man we'll call Sami. He opened the app before class started, but he closed it after midnight. He tried reading a page, but it seemed so boring. The words were static, and there was no music in the background. Have you ever felt this way? As if the real world suddenly slowed down? Today, we're going to dive into Sami's brain. We'll see what those 3 hours did to him. At first, everything seems innocent. A laugh, a fact, a dance, a story, and then a surprise. But your brain doesn't see separate clips. It sees a series of unexpected rewards. Some clips are boring, so you skip them right away. But the next one might be great, and that's where the magic begins, or the problem starts. Your brain loves unexpected rewards. It's like a box whose contents you don't know. Dopamine isn't just a feel-good chemical. It helps your brain anticipate the reward, and it tells your brain, repeat this behavior. Every skip becomes a little question. Will the next clip be better? And because the answer is unknown, you keep going. Believe it or not, the uncertainty draws you in. 3 hours equals 180 minutes. Let's say each clip lasts 20 seconds. That means watching about 540 clips. That's 540 faces, ideas, and voices. Each clip demands a new reaction. Laugh now. Get angry now. Be surprised now. But your emotions don't get enough time, so you move on without processing what you've seen. Imagine eating 540 different foods. You'll taste everything, but you won't feel full. And that's pretty much what happens to your brain. You take in a huge amount of information, but very little of it becomes real knowledge. Do you remember the first clip you watched today? If you don't remember it, where did it go? Now, let's pause and test attention. In a study published in 2024, 48 people were tested. The researchers used electroencephalography, EEG. They measured 3 key attention networks. They found a link between problematic app use and impaired attention, specifically, the ability to resist distractions. This isn't proof that the app damages the brain, but it reveals a pattern worth paying attention to. Another study found a weaker brain signal. That signal is scientifically called the P300, but its simple meaning is very clear. The brain has become less responsive to important information. Why? Because it's gotten used to faster and more intense changes. A book doesn't change the scene every 2 seconds. A lecture doesn't deliver a joke every 10 seconds. That's why calm things seem less appealing. Your brain is like a Ferrari in neutral. The engine is roaring, but you're not moving. During the second hour, a significant shift occurs. You're not just learning TikTok. TikTok is learning from you, too. It tracks where you stopped and what you rewound, and it quickly notices what you skipped. That's why the clips become more precise. But this precision makes it harder to log out. The algorithm doesn't need to know your thoughts. It's enough for it to know the movement of your finger. Did you pause on a sad video? You'll get similar content. Did you watch an argument all the way through? You might see more arguments, because anger also keeps your attention. Do you actually choose what you watch? Or does the algorithm choose what you'll want next? After 2 hours, time begins to slip away. It's not because your watch has stopped, but each segment seems so short. Your brain says, 20 seconds won't hurt, but it repeats this hundreds of times. And that's where a little trick comes in. The movie ends and the class ends, but the For You page never ends. So you never get a clear signal to stop. You're waiting for an ending that wasn't even designed. Stop for a moment and think about it. How many times have you closed the app on your own? And how many times have a call or a dead battery forced you to stop? At 3 o'clock, the physical toll sets in. Your eyes dry out from a lack of blinking. Your neck remains bent for a long time, and your body remains still. But your mind jumps between hundreds of scenarios. So you may feel tired without having accomplished anything, and you feel full without having learned anything. And if you watch at night, another problem arises. The time you've lost delays your sleep. Plus, the content keeps your mind stimulated. Recent studies link problematic use to poorer sleep. But remember the important distinction. This is a correlation, not a definitive cause and effect relationship. Stressed people may watch TikTok more, and using it may also increase their stress. It's a cycle, not a one-way street. But the truth isn't what you'd expect. Your brain didn't rot in 3 hours, and you didn't permanently lose your intelligence. This talk is sensational, but it's inaccurate. The truth is more serious because it's more subtle. Your brain is always training for what you do. 3 hours of rapid jumping trains you to jump. It's like training a soccer player. If he trains for speed, his speed improves, but that doesn't improve his shooting accuracy. TikTok trains your ability to switch quickly between tasks, but it doesn't train you to stay focused on a single idea. So the problem isn't the enjoyment itself. The problem is the type of repetitive training. And here we return to Sami. He put down his phone and opened his book, but the book hadn't changed. What had changed was his level of expectation for stimulation. He had come to expect a surprise every few seconds. That's why the page seemed like an endless desert. He read the first line, then picked up his phone. Not because he was weak or lazy, but because habit had become faster than decision-making. A small study in 2024 found a similar pattern. It compared problematic users with healthy ones. The hand moves before the mind has fully thought it through. Did you open the app without meaning to? That moment is the most important warning sign. But your brain is flexible, and that's great news. What it learns, it can reorganize. Start by adding a little friction. Remove the app from your home screen and turn off all its unnecessary notifications. Set a time limit before opening it. Choose 10 minutes, not just a few minutes. Use a timer outside the app, and when it goes off, close it immediately. Don't negotiate with yourself for one last episode, because there is no last episode. After closing the app, do a slow-paced activity. Walk, read, or just sit without a screen. At first, boredom will feel annoying, but boredom isn't a glitch in your brain. It's the gateway to refocusing. So what happens after 3 hours? Your brain is bombarded with hundreds of tiny rewards. It shifts between hundreds of emotions and information. As a result, calmness temporarily becomes less appealing. It becomes harder to stop. Your focus, sleep, and mood may be affected. But the surprise is that TikTok isn't a monster. It's an excellent tool at achieving its goal. Its goal is to keep you hooked. The real question isn't, is TikTok evil? The question is, who's training whom? Are you using the app to achieve a clear purpose? Or is it using your curiosity to drive longer viewing time? When you watch for 3 hours, you're not just wasting time. You're voting for the kind of mind you want. Every swipe says, I want something faster. And every moment of focus says something different. It says, I can stay present despite the stillness of the moment. Next time, watch your hand, especially before the app opens automatically. Ask yourself one question. What did I come here to do? If you can't find an answer, close it. Because freedom isn't deleting TikTok. Freedom is the ability to stop. Share this video with someone who disappears for hours. But before you go, tell me, how many hours has scrolling stolen from you this week? Pay attention to what you give your attention to.